Hi guys. Before we proceed to this video, we've got something very important to share with you. Neoliberalism, Inequality and Authoritarianism by Professor John V. Kofis is available for purchase. You can order it directly from the publisher Little French eBooks or through Amazon.
Hello, welcome. This is a teaser session on the assassination of an American far right-wing individual named Charlie Kirk, assassinated on the 10th of September. And this has raised a lot of eyebrows across the world, and it has certainly further polarized American society. I believe that this, first and foremost, I agree with Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont, who said this is a tragedy for the family, obviously, first and foremost. This is not something to be celebrated. This is something that all citizens should be reflecting on what kind of society they want. This, in my view, is a political assassination reflecting the rising cold civil war of the United States that has been brewing for a number of decades, and especially in the last 10 years or so. This cold civil war, in other words, is sort of a civil war between those who want a democratic, an open society, a democratic society based on the Constitution, and as well as a society based on social justice at home and peace abroad. That's the one side, within very varying degrees, because there is no homogeneity within the large block of people. And on the other hand, there is the group, whether they are, by the way, on the Democratic side or the Republican side or to the far of the Republicans, who believe in American militarism, who believe, whether they admit it or not, whether some of them are honest enough to admit it actually, whether they believe that the authoritarian path in violation of the Constitution, in order to continue with class warfare, in order to continue with xenophobia and racism, in order to continue with the declining social safety net in American society, solely for the preservation of capital accumulation on a large scale, given that a small group of people, as a number of progressive Democrats call them, the oligarchy of America, owning the vast assets while the majority is experiencing decline. This is a pattern, in my view, the assassination. Without knowing who, the FBI has no information so far, neither do the police in the state of Utah. They have no information as to the shooter. Yeah, the fact is that this is a political assassination reflecting the division of America, deep-rooted division. Worse than that, and I will be explaining this further in the longer analytical video, and I invite all of you to take a look at that. Worse than that is how the government has responded to this, using this tragedy, unfortunately, for political ends, whether it is some people on the liberal democratic side who, instead of expressing some sense of um, sympathy to the family and so forth, they are delighted that someone who is on the far right has been gunned down. That is a tragedy. That speaks volumes to the absence of humanity. However, just as bad, if actually not much worse, is the fact that the government is using, and some Republicans are using this tragedy to elevate an individual who was, by his own words, he left many videos behind this, and of course, audio material. He was a talk show host, very divisive individual, and promoted division in American society. This is a manifestation of American society. The way Charlie Kirk lived and the way he died tragically is indeed a manifestation of the cold civil war that America has been experiencing for a number of decades now, culminating with the emergence of the Trump administration in the first term, and then continuing into the second term. This is not to say that the establishment Democratic Party has not contributed to division, because they have. This is not to say that the Democratic Party has not contributed to the rise, to the sustainable militarism of America, and the use of authoritarian tactics, military police state tactics, to resolve conflict and to deal with issues. Instead of addressing the root causes of the absence of social justice, they resort to force. And clearly, the GOP, especially under Trump, much more resolute in using force, as we have seen with regard to migrants, immigrants, illegal immigrants, um, and freer with language, very harsh language, toward marginalized populations, toward women, toward the working class. This does not help heal the wounds of division. I invite you to join me in the longer analytical video, and I thank you for listening, and ask you to please join this channel. Thank you very much.